Today we are making a really fun treat, very economical, great for any time of year. I've always made these around Christmas, but they would be great for Easter or, like I said, anytime. What you're looking at here, some flavor varieties. This is raspberry, lemon, lime, and this is actually blueberry pomegranate. I always like to make lime because I feel like it's a nice Christmassy color when I make them if it's Christmas, and I also like raspberry because they're very red in color. So let me show you what you need. Okay, for each batch you're going to need a 3-ounce box of Jello, whatever variety you want. You're also going to need 10 ounces of marshmallows. I prefer to use mini marshmallows, and a stick and a half of butter. So that's a total of, I think, 12 tablespoons, right? Yes. And also popcorn. Now this happens to be mushroom popcorn, but you could use whatever kind you want. Don't use microwave or anything like that, but just kernels, and I recommend popping them in the air popper. So I should mention that you want some nonstick cooking spray. Back in the days before this was really popular, a long time ago, we would use kind of butter or margarine on our hands to keep the balls from sticking as we were forming them. But this is so much better, so much better. Also, while I'm talking about butter or margarine, you can use whichever you want, butter or margarine in this recipe. Now, if you're anything like me, you like to buy the 6-ounce packs of Jello because they're a little bit cheaper. And you like to buy the bigger packs of marshmallows because they're a little bit cheaper. And if you're anything like me, you might like to make double batches just because it's easier. However, with this recipe, I recommend you do not double it. There just is too much mass, and it is really hard to handle, and it makes it kind of unpleasant. So buy the 6-ounce packs. I actually used a 6-ounce pack for the raspberry, but then I used my scale and just weighed 3 ounces of it out. I've been weighing 10 ounces of mini marshmallows per batch. So, go ahead and do that. Just don't double it all at once. So you're going to air pop some popcorn. We want 6 quarts of popped popcorn. I recommend popping it into one bowl and then transferring it with your hands to another bowl. This helps get less of the holes and also less chance of kernels. I've been using this because it very clearly marked 6 quarts, and that's super handy. So that's the first thing. Get your popcorn all ready. So I kind of handle this in stations. I like to have out some wax paper on my counter and a place to put my pot. I will put the popcorn over here ready to go, all 6 quarts of it. There it is. I'm just going to set that right here. Ta-da. And the wax paper. And then I have my other little station here at the stove. So we're going to start on low heat, big pot, low heat. And we're going to just throw our butter in there and let it melt. I happen to be using butter. My earlier batches, I was using margarine, but ran out of margarine and now I'm using butter. So I'm going to put a stick and a half in, let it melt. Okay, our butter is just about melted. Over low. We don't need to rush it. We don't want to worry about burning our butter. That's a catastrophe, right? This batch, I'm using the Jolly Rancher Cherry Jello. I'm not sure if it tastes any different from regular cherry Jello, but that's what we're using. And what I'm going to do is just add the 3-ounce pack in with the melted butter and give it a stir around, kind of let it dissolve a little. It's not going to entirely dissolve in the butter, so just be aware of that. I'm going to show you how incorporated it needs to be before we add the marshmallow. Speaking of this Jello, I believe I got this at Sharp Shopper 3 for $1. Gotta love that. I like keeping Jello on hand. I like to make Jello jigglers for my children when they are feeling a little under the weather. I think it's a great way to get some fluids into them. Anyways, you can kind of see here what it's doing, and that's normal. Looks a little weird, right? Separated a little. But we are dissolving a little bit. We're just gonna let it heat up a little bit here. Okay, this is about as dissolved as things get, but don't worry, everything will incorporate when the marshmallows melt. So here's my 10 ounces mini marshmallows. I'm gonna give them a stir. Give them a minute, then I'm gonna stir them again. Give them a minute and stir them again. You can see here, it's even coming more together. We're almost all incorporated here. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Looks good. That is how it should look. And now I'm going to move it over to the other station where we're going to add the popcorn in. Okay, so we're over here, and now we're going to add in the 6 quarts popped popcorn. Just going to pour it in there. Try not to get it on the floor. Okay. And then we're just going to gently mix it. Kind of using the folding technique that you kind of use with batters and such. And now in certain ways this is reminiscent of like a Rice Krispie treat, but in other ways it is not. I always feel like Rice Krispies really toughen up very quickly, like as you're incorporating the Rice Krispie. This solution here, I guess you could call it, does not set up quite as quickly as Rice Krispies. So you actually have a little more time to work with it. And you actually, when we're forming the balls, you're going to want it to cool down a little first. So I'm gonna get this all mixed up, and then we're gonna dump it out here on my wax paper and just kind of let it cool a little bit. All right, I almost have it incorporated together. Another fun thing about this recipe is the colors. Sometimes you're just never quite sure what kind of color you're gonna get till it's all said and done, and it's fun. And you could totally make a theme. If you just wanted red and green for Christmas, you could do that. Or, well, they're kind of pastels. They always kind of end up a little on the pastel side. All right, we're gonna dump it out and let it cool down. Now, if you start to work with this before it's cool enough, the balls just will not form. So I'm going to let this sit probably at least 5 minutes, and then we will get ready to start forming those balls. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my wannabe pan. I'm going to just spray some on my hands, rub them together. Every probably about 4 to 5 popcorn balls, I'm going to need to add a little bit, particularly to my palms, I find. So we're going to just take some. I like to start with the sides because they're a little cooler. And we're just going to form it into a ball. Now, I like to make different sizes of balls. Littler balls for littler children and bigger balls for people who want a bigger ball. You may want to have like more of a uniform popcorn ball plan, and that's fine. That's just what I do. I'm just going to sit them here on the wax paper and let them cool off. Okay, so they're all formed. They're all here. They've kind of cooled down a little. They're not 100% cool, but they're fairly cool. And I'm now going to take a piece of saran wrap. I just kind of lay it over one and wrap it around. I like to keep the all of like the ends in the back, so if I want to kind of arrange them in a bowl, I can, not have the extra saran there. But that is totally your preference, how you'd like to do that. Now, these keep a long time, about a month. They don't need refrigerated. They travel really well. You just kind of eat them like you're biting into an apple or something. I think they are bulky. I just put them in some big bowls and kind of sit them around. They're almost like a decoration and a snack. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will put the quantities of the ingredients in the description of the video, but for the actual instructions, you'll have to watch the video, and for the tips and tricks. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please check out my other recipe videos. I'll talk to you again soon.